I actually do like JB.
like JB?
I wasn't even a liar. If he comes on game day, I will listen to him.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Up and Coming. I'm Tanasio, Winikerei.
And I'm McMullen.
And this podcast is where we interview up and coming stars that are chasing their dreams of playing sport at an elite level. Today joining us, we have Billy Smith.
Yeah, so without giving away too much, Billy is a professional rugby league player who plays as a centre for the Sydney Roosters in the NRL. 1 year out of school, Billy played for the Wyong Roos. Then after exceeding that competition, he moved on to playing for the North Sydney Bears in the 2019 Canterbury Cup, scoring 9 tries in 6 games before receiving a call up to the Sydney Roosters first grade side. So welcome, Billy.
Thanks for having us, boys. It's good to be here.
All good.
Thanks for coming in. Can you just tell us a bit about where you grew up and a bit about what your upbringing was like?
Yep, I'm a local boy, mate. So I grew up in the eastern suburbs, obviously. Homegrown Scots boy. I came to Scots when I was in year 4, I think it was, and finished my schooling here in year 12. But yeah, grew up in the area, mate. So yeah, I'm a local boy.
Yep. So you and your whole family is all here?
Yeah, mate. Yeah. So we grew up. I think I was born in a house in Kensington. Then moved around the joint a fair bit, but been located in Bronny now for a little while. So I call myself a bit of a Bronny boy.
So have you got a big family, or is it?
Yeah, man. I'm a family of 1 of 7. So 2 older brothers, 2 younger sisters, and a mum and dad. So there's a fair bit of us, but it's good. It keeps you busy, keeps you occupied.
Cool. So you're pretty close.
Yeah, mate. Really close.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you have a big family, you kind of grow up around them. So when you go to family events and whatnot, you kind of can just talk to them and just keep yourself occupied without having to go and mingle with other people. So we grew up doing that. So we're all pretty close today.
Yeah, cool.
Your family, they all go for the Dragons, don't they? Are you a Dragon supporter?
We grew up, we're huge Saints fans. So they're still Dragons fans. They'll still when the Roosters play the Dragons, they'll always get on my ear and say they're going for the Dragons. But I call them out. I reckon they're bluffing there. They're not.
Yeah. And do you reckon your upbringings influence your life experiences and stuff?
Yeah, massively, mate. I think I'm a firm believer in the saying, you're a product of who you hang around. So, I've been lucky enough to be surrounded by people who've shown me, who've mentored me really, really well and put me on the right path. So, I think it's a massive part of growing up is who you hang around, choosing the right people to put you on the right path. So, yeah, for sure.
Did you ever find yourself leading astray sometimes, when you were growing up? Like you're saying, you want to hang around the right people and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think that's part of growing up. You grow up, you mess up, you do things that probably aren't the right thing to do, but it's all part and parcel of it. But yeah, I think footy's been a great tool for me to stay on the right path and do the right thing because there's always early morning trainings and late nights and stuff like that. So I think that's been a really good way for me to stay on the right path and do the right thing. Yeah.
Was there ever times you had to get up early in the morning and you just thought, I'd give today a miss, or? Mate,
all the time. Yeah. Still times today where I get like that. Yeah. But again, rugby's a way for me to kind of get over those sort of mental barriers and keep pushing.
Yeah. When did you start playing rugby?
But it would have been 4. I think 4 or 5 years old. I grew up obviously playing rugby union. I played down at Macaulay, down at East. Yeah. When I was 4, I played up with my brother's team, and then I just loved it. I would just love playing with my older brothers. I was the youngest of I had 2 older brothers, so I loved playing with them. I was always trying to compete with them. So 4 years old, I was playing up and down to 5s or 6s, and then it just kind of grew on from there.
So you started playing rugby union, and then how did league come into the contention?
Yeah, mate. So I grew up playing union. Played union for I think under 4s, under 6s. Then once, because union when you're growing up is only touch for a few years. So I was like, I kind of want to play a bit of contact sport. So played rugby league and union on Saturdays and Sundays. So our weekends are pretty occupied with footy.
Yeah, full on schedule.
Yeah, it is. And then when I came to Scots in year 5 or 6, it got to a point where you could just only play the one sport, and I chose rugby union obviously because that's a sport the school played. So yeah, from then on, from about under 12s to under 18s, when I finished school, I was rugby union fully. Yeah. And my rugby league was always I admired the rugby league players. I grew up obviously supporting the Dragons, so I'd always go to the Anzac Day Test games and watch all those sort of footy games, but it never kind of crossed my mind that I'd ever play the sport. It wasn't until I was in my last year at school actually that I kind of was approached by a rugby league club and thought that's probably not a bad option, and it kind of just spiraled from there.
So when did you realise that you actually want to take footy seriously? Like, was there other options for you that you were thinking of?
I think, man, I've always kind of wanted to play professional rugby. I think every little kid who plays footy wants to play professional rugby. But my dad's a bit of a realist. He'd always go up and say, mate, like, yeah, it's awesome, but only 0.1% of people get to play professional rugby. So you always have to have another backup option. So that was kind of my mentality. I always wanted to do it, but never thought I actually would do it. So when I ended up cracking it out of school, I was stoked. I was over the moon. I was like, geez, so I get to do this as a profession. Yeah. And I still kind of do pinch myself a little bit, you know, when you see so many people leave school and try to figure themselves out. I didn't kind of have to have that issue. I kind of left school and was like, geez, how good this? We can just train every day and play footy.
Yeah, cool. So who was your idol growing up?
I was a Dragons fan, so I love Matt Cooper, Mark Gasnier, those sort of players. But obviously, you kind of you admire the Greg Inglis's of the game, the Darren Lockyers, those sort of guys. Yeah. So yeah, I'd probably say those sort of people.
Yeah. And then you said you started Scots in year 4.
Yep.
Did you enjoy school life?
Yeah, I love Scots. I'm a proud old boy. I loved everything about Scots, whether it was Glengarry or just times on the oval. Yeah. So no, I always look back whenever I come back here and have fond memories of the place.
Yeah. Well, what do you say your best memory was?
I mean, Glengarry's hard to pass up. It's always a pretty cool time. I mean, when you're down at Glengarry, you're always like, fuck, I don't want to go back. But now that I think of it, like that was probably one of my favourite memories. Yeah.
So in year 12, you were captain of rugby.
Yep.
And then you got an injury which ruled you out of making the Australian schoolboys. Yeah,
mate. So yeah, I was lucky enough to captain the first 15 in year 12. We had four or five trial games, and then we had a couple of GPS rounds, and then there'd be a term break, and then go into the later half of the year. But I played the trial games, played the first 2 rounds. Unfortunately, in one of the rep games, I did my ankle pretty significantly. It's had to get surgery on that, and that ruled me out of the national champs, but more importantly, ruled me out of the later half of the Scots season, which is a bit disappointing. So when you're at school, you kind of think school footy is the be-all and end-all. Yeah. So that kind of ripped me to shreds a little bit, but looking back on it, mate, it was, it's a pretty small thing to overcome. Yeah.
Was that your first time handling an injury?
No, I wish it was, but no, I've been riddled with injuries my whole life, unfortunately. But I did my shoulder in year 11, not too bad, but I missed 5 or 6 weeks of it. Yeah. And then felt really good coming to the year 12 year, and then obviously that happened. But yeah, so it was my first injury, no.
Yeah. So how was the transition going from first 15 rugby to obviously playing first grade?
Yeah, it's massive, mate. You're kind of thrown in the deep end a little bit. I remember when I first got there, I was like, surely they're going to take it easy on me. Like, I'm fresh out of school. I'm from rugby union. I haven't played league in 10 years. Yeah. But they don't, which is the best thing. It's the best thing to do. Like, just throw you into the deep end and take it all as it comes. You go from tackling boys sort of to tackling men. Yeah. Not only men, but skillful men. Yeah. So no, it was tough, really, really tough, especially that first pre-season. I think every day you're just trying to hang on. But looking back on it, it's the best thing that could have happened because it just gets you ready and prep for the year ahead.
Yep.
So like you said, you had a few injuries. How have you dealt with those injuries? I know you had 2 season-ending ACL injuries. How did that feel?
Yeah, no, it's been a pretty tough 18 months, obviously, with the with 2 ACL injuries. And it's a roller coaster, eh? Like that's what footy is. You ride the highs, you ride the lows, and unfortunately, over the last 18 or so months, I've had my fair share of lows. But that's why it's really important to have a really strong family friend basis to turn on when things aren't going so well. So that's been awesome for me. I've had a rock of a family and a rock of friends who've just helped me along the way, and just rugby for me is what I want to do and my passion, but there's a lot more people in worse off positions than I am, and I think that's a really good. Once you get injuries and things that put things into perspective for you, that's why I kind of turn to. I kind of think to myself, if this is the worst thing that happens to me, then I'm doing all right. So,
and do you reckon there's been a time where you feel like you've been playing your best footy?
Yeah, I think as you mentioned, I came back from my first ACL injury. I did my knee in 2018, came back in 2019, and was finding some real good form, mate. Like started playing some good footy. Obviously, I played with the Bears. I was lucky enough to play with some good players, and then kind got a call up into playing first grade, and I felt really, really confident going to the back end of that year, obviously debuting, and then a couple games after that, and then it was kind of, it set up a really, really good 2020 for me. Yep. And that's footy. You think, you're on top of the world 1 minute, and then it all comes crashing down, and it kind of happened like that. But I think, at the end of that 2019 year, I felt really, really strong and comfortable.
Yeah. So as you said, in 2019 you made your debut. Talk us through that. How was that? How was the emotions, the feelings?
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I've been at the Roosters since 2018, or the back end of 2017. So whenever you're there, all you want to do is put on the jersey and play. I mean, you train day in, day out for that moment. So when it kind of finally happened, it's a whirlwind of emotions. You kind of don't want to get too overwhelmed in the moment because you have to play a game of footy. You have to get your head mindset on that. But at the same time, it's a massive, it's a big moment. It's what you train your whole life for. So I was no different. I was, rode the whirlwind of emotions. But it was a special week and special day.
Yeah. Was it a phone call you got from Robbo?
Mate, no. So Latrell had a bit of a calf niggle that week, and Robbo, I was 18th man the last few weeks prior to that, so I'd warm up and then wouldn't play. Being 18th man is one of the toughest things you can do because you get on the bus with all the boys, get your head on the game, and then you warm up, so you're all ready to go, and then you get into the sheds and they run out and you get changed back into your tracksuits and watch the game. So no, it was. I thought it was the same week as that. I thought I was going to 18th man, and then Trell was going to be sweet to play, and it was all going to go like that. But it was D2 2 days before a game. Robbo was like, "Mate, get your head around playing. I don't know if he's going to be right." And then
it's only 2 days.
2 days before the game, I was like, "All right, sweet." I was like thinking to myself, "Yep, so I'm good to go." But I always kind of thought that Trell was going to be fine and I was going to play. But captain's run, they gave Trell went out early for a jog, and I kind of saw him kind of limp a little bit on one of his runs, and I was like, kind of looking around, thinking to myself, "Jeez." And then I just kind of went through my routine, trained with the boys, and then Robbo came up to me, gave me a hug, and was like, "Mate, you ready to go?" And I said, "I think so." Yeah. So that's how it happened. It was really good, mate. It was cool. You always kind of think of that moment, like, what's going to happen? How's it going to be? Is it going to be a phone call, or is he going to just throw it on you? But I wouldn't have had it any other way. It was cool. It was just, I had all the boys around me, and they were all legends about it. So, no, it was cool.
Who was the first person you called to tell them?
I think my mum and dad were in, my twin sisters go to school in Melbourne. So I think mum and dad were in Melbourne that day. Yeah. So I went and had to call them obviously pretty quickly and said to them, "Hey guys, listen, I think I'm gonna play first grade tomorrow. I think I'm gonna debut." And they were over the moon. I think they were in the car together, so it's kind of worked out well that I didn't call one of them because the other one would have been off me. So yeah, I called them both, and they were obviously pretty ecstatic. We had to keep it on the down low a little bit because we didn't want the opposite team to know, because we wanted to kind of keep them guessing a little bit. So I couldn't tell a whole lot of people, unfortunately. But I was lucky enough to tell my parents, my family, obviously, and a close group of mates and get them tickets to the game.
Yeah. Then scoring a try in that game, how was that feeling?
Yeah, it was cool. I didn't have to do a whole lot, but yeah, I mean, the game, the start of the game, the boys were on. They were so good. They just rolled them up the field, and I think it was, by the time I scored, it was 18 or 12-0 or something like that. Yeah. And obviously down that left edge, you have guys like Kiri and Teddy who are just so lethal and so electric. So I kind of saw Kez take an opportunity. Ted popped up on the inside, and then I just had my blinkers on and said, "I'm sort of gas it here," thinking that I wasn't going to be quick enough. But lucky enough, Ted popped the ball up, and I managed to make the leg.
And then turning around and walking back for them to kick off, and you see all your friends there. How was that? Yeah,
I remember Matty King, or one of our assistant coaches, came up to me because he was running the water that day and saying, like, "How easy is this?" And I was like, "Yeah, you're right. This is how good is this." And yeah, walking back and seeing all my mates on the other side of the field, and they were just screaming. I think a few of them had a bit much to drink and were just carrying on. So they were all being legends, and it was just a really cool moment. When you're on the field, you can't really hear a whole lot. Yeah. That's kind of one of the moments where you kind of just take it in and just soak it all up.
Yeah. Did your parents make it back in time for?
Yeah, no, they were there. Yeah, they were there. They wouldn't miss that. So I had my parents there, my uncle was there, and then all my schoolmates and friends were there. So it was special. Yeah.
So can you tell us a bit about how you usually prepare for a game mentally, and if you have any pre-game rituals, anything like that?
Mate, I like to think I do, but I don't really. I'm a pretty casual guy when it comes to game day. There's so many different sort of people who have different mindsets leading into a game, but yeah, I mean, I might chuck my headphones on for a bit, but I like to just be happy, talk, chat to the boys, which kind of, I feel the boys get off me sometimes, so I'm just so chattering for a game. But yeah, I mean, I listen to my music, but other than that, like I don't kind of go into my shell and just go into a corner and listen to my music and sort myself up. I just chat to the boys. I like knowing what my role is, so chat to the boys about my role, talk about combos, all that sort of stuff, and then yeah, I don't take it too seriously. I'm pretty
relaxed.
Yeah, pretty relaxed before I go into a game. I think that's the best way to be.
Yeah, cool. What music listening to?
Oh god, what was it?
Are you one of those guys like got the heavy rock, heavy metal on?
Yeah, no, probably like Justin Bieber or something like that. No, I think me and my brother always had this one song we listened to. You know, "Joking the Thief" by the Wolfmother. Yeah, we kind of listen to that sometimes. It psychs us up.
What is that? Can you sing us a bit of it?
Won't you tell me about the story about the joker and the thief in the night? It's cool. You listen to it, play it full blast in your ear, and it sucks up a little bit. Yeah. But mate, I I don't mean rituals or anything like that. I just kind of, if I see it, I'm like, oh, I'll play this song. Yeah,
cool.
Let's suck up. Yeah. But no, nothing too serious.
Yeah. And then hobbies outside of rugby. I know you like golf. Is that?
Yeah. You know, as footy players, we're kind of blessed with a lot of free time like when we're not training and playing. So I always like to do things, take my mind off it. And obviously golf's, a lot of the boys do that. So we all kind of, once training's done and we're all feeling good, we'll all get down to the park, go down to the range and have a hit. Yeah. But other than that, mate, it takes up a lot of time, rugby, I know, funnily enough. Yeah. But yeah, golf's probably my biggest thing. I love playing golf, so yeah, that.
You ever got a favourite golf player?
Yeah, I love Koepka.
Yeah.
He's a beast. I think he's quite controversial, but I think he's a beast. He's kind of like he's a new age golfer. A lot of golfers tend to be quite skinny and, small, but
I know nothing about golf. I don't know what you're talking about.
Get into it, bro. I promise you, it's the best ever. Yeah. You'll be obsessed.
Then obviously, so looking forward a bit. So in 5 years' time, where do you think you'd want to be?
Hopefully still playing footy.
Yeah.
I'm 21 now, so 26. I'd hope I'm, achieved more than I have right now, and on my way to fulfilling all my dreams. So far I don't really try to think long term, to be honest with you. Yeah. I try to think just what my next year looks like. But yeah, I hope I'm still the same dude and playing good footy. Yeah. That's what I'll think of.
So I know you just said that you don't really think long term, but have you sorted anything that you want to do after footy, or because kids our age, all they think about is footy and they don't really set themselves or think afterwards and to fall back on.
Yep. As I said, my dad's a realist, so he's always, and so the Roosters, they're always like, mate, you need to do things other than footy. Like, if you just bog yourself down in rugby, it just consumes you. So it's good to do other things outside of rugby. So yeah, I study. I go to UTS. I study property economics. I'm constantly I'm quite interested in the property side of things. So I'm constantly trying to build some relationships in that area of the field. But yeah, I think it's really, really important to do a tertiary study or do something outside of rugby. Yeah. To set you up after footy, because obviously the footy's not going to last forever. Yeah. So it's good to have plans outside of that.
Back to rugby. Would you ever consider yourself going back to playing union, or is all eyes set on league right now?
I don't know. Honestly, answer, I don't know. But I grew up loving the Wallabies. I grew up supporting the Wallabies. So it'd be cool to one day go over and play rugby union again. If that's the path I want to take. Yep. But right now my focus is just on playing rugby league, playing for the Roosters and doing that. But yeah, no, I do. When I love playing rugby union. I love playing rugby union at Scots. I love playing rugby union at East. And if that opportunity arose one day, then yeah, why not?
And then obviously the Roosters being one of the oldest and most successful clubs, how's it being part of that and being surrounded by all the Teddy and
big dogs.
Jared Cordner?
Yeah, big dogs. Yeah, mate. From the outset, they're a successful club. They've built, obviously Trent Robinson's been a big influence on that success. But from the inside, the inside out, we're a family club. We just, everyone loves everyone, and that's what's kind of amazed me the most about the club. From the outset, you're just like, oh, they're just all freaks. They just all play good footy and stuff, but they're all just genuine good blokes. Hey, just down to earth people who love their family, love the boys, and that's the best thing about it. It's a culture based on mateship. No egos involved. It's just, you know, once we're playing footy, we're playing footy, but when we're not playing footy, we're just having a laugh. We're all good mates. So, you know, it's still I'm still pinching myself that I'm able to be a part of such a good club. And yeah, it's a cool experience. It's one that it's hard to kind of it's hard to kind of like explain it, but when you're a part of it, you know you're a part of something special.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of young viewers that watch, and could you just share a little bit about like the best advice you've gotten, and could you just give some advice to young aspiring players that want to make it?
Yeah, it sounds pretty cliche, but just like work hard. You know, like whether it be in whatever, not just in footy, but just in life. Like don't find the easy way out. If you have to do something more, then do that. But yeah, again, it sounds really, really cliche, but take every opportunity as it comes, and if you want to do something, like do it. There's no reason why you can't. Just put your head down and just try hard, you know. And there's always going to be obstacles to overcome. That's just life. But yeah, just get on the grind and keep going.
Yep. And also with like, you know, a lot of distractions when you're growing up there. Like, did you go through that?
Yeah, and you know, I'm not perfect by any means. You know, I had distractions. You know, there's parties, there's girls, there's everything that comes part and parcel with growing up. So no one needs you to be perfect, but if you can just stay focused on what you want to do in life and you know, keep that as your main focus, your main goal, then you'll go a long way in doing what you want to do. Yeah. But you know, part of growing up is messing up and doing the wrong thing, and that's going to happen. Just try not to do it too bad.
Yeah, cool. Lastly, just before we finish up, I've got some questions from the viewers, if that's all right.
Yep.
That I'd like to get an answer. I think some of it we've already like covered. So it says, how was the transition from schoolboy footy to first grade? Yeah, so we already said.
Tough.
In the deep end.
Thrown in the deep end. Tough. Very tough.
I know one was, what's your favourite song?
Oh, he said, can you sing your favourite tune?
What is my favourite tune right now? I don't know.
Holly.
I've been listening to the band Holly, JB. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
I actually do like JB.
Like JB.
I wasn't even a liar. If he comes on game day, I will listen to him. I've been listening to the Kiwi band 660 a little bit recently.
Oh, really?
I don't even know a lot of their songs. I just like the tempo of their songs.
Yeah.
They're just cool.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
if anyone at home listen to some of their music, they're good.
Yeah. Another one is, heard you're the king of bench press from a few people. How much are you benching?
That's a lie. It's a stitch up. I suck at bench press. No, I don't know. I just my shoulders. I got real bad shoulders, so I'm not the king of bench press. I like to think I am, but I'm not.
Yeah.
So that's a stitch up.
How much are you benching?
Someone. How much am I benching? I think
Classified. I'm going to keep it classified.
yeah, classified. I don't want people knowing.
Thoughts on Tommy Talau from the West Tigers?
Never met him, but you know, he just looks like a pretty good footy player.
Yeah.
Hope they converse him this year.
Yeah. And do you have any jerseys to sell?
Yeah, come to me. I'll hold you up.
How did you recover? Like, did you recover well from your injuries?
Yeah, man, I'm good to go. So we start pre-season on Monday week coming up. So I'm raring to go. I just can't wait to start playing footy again. I think you train when you do a season-ending injury like an ACL. You train for so long, and you kind of get to a point where you're like, "What am I training for?"
Yeah.
But the eventual goal is you train to play footy again. So I'm good to go. Just over 9 months now, and that's recovery time. So I'm feeling really good. Ready to rip into the 21 season.
Is there a tour or camp that you're doing for pre-season?
No, there's obviously this COVID situation hurts a little bit. Would usually go away, but I think they have some little trips planned, but they're trying to keep it a bit hush hush.
Yeah, keep you guessing.
Yeah, exactly. Keep us guessing a little bit. Get us scared.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
Billy's socials will be in the description box below. So if you want to follow him on his rugby career, and we'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for coming in.
All good, guys. Thank you.